go. Okay, come on. I was trying to do Jingle Bells there with the little dings going between those, and the music just sort of cut me off. But are we live? It says we're live. I'm not getting any visuals just yet. Alright, there's the visual. Does it have audio? It does indeed have audio. So hello, people of the internet. It is I, Soulrack Dragon, here, back with more Fate Stay Night Remastered. Last time we kind of cut the stream a little bit early, admittedly. But that was because the wrong name was being used for a certain servant. So now it's the right name. So let's resume. There's a 40-minute... Why is there a 40-minute difference between the autosave? Let's load from here. I don't remember what this point is. There we go. See? Scene loaded. Artoria. That's the name she was given when she celebrated her coming of age. I fixed it. I figured out how to get the mod to work, and I fixed it. This is what her name should be, not Altria. It's Artoria. Because honestly, Artoria does sound like a more feminine version of Arthur than Altria. I know that the Japanese don't have L's, and the L sounds like an R, so it would be Artria in Japanese, but Artoria, because, I mean, it's better. It sounds more close to Arthur than Arturia. Alright. Because it's kind of like Artorias of the Abyss, and Dark Souls nerd in me is kind of fine with that. Alright, so last time we had witnessed Excalibur for the very first time as Artoria blew Medusa and Pegasus to smithereens. Shinji's command spells disappeared, which is not how we were told it was supposed to happen, but we're ignoring that because spoilers. And yeah, it kind of ended after that. We know that Saber is about to disappear due to lack of mana, or rather, she will not be able to fight effectively because of the lack of mana generation between her and Shiro. We also got a bad end where we acted logically and didn't chase after Saber fighting Medusa, and Artoria fighting Ryder. Forgot spoilers, names. Shh. We did not chase after Artoria, who was in the middle of the fight with Ryder, as they were literally going up the side of a building, and I thought that, logically speaking, trying to follow would be stupid. Shiro would just be a nuisance and get himself killed. Well, we arrived at the roof late. Saber was unconscious, and we carried her away, and it was revealed the next day that she was going to sort of fade away. Shiro walked to the park, or walked to the place he encountered Ilya the first time, and she kind of captured him. Yeah. I don't know why that led to a bad end, when I guess we have gotten a little bit of extra dialogue from going to witness Artoria using Excalibur. Maybe the fact that we got her a little sooner means she lost less mana, because there is some transfer of mana going on between her and Shiro. I don't know. We'll find out, I'm sure. But let's resume. Artoria. That's the name she was given when she celebrated her coming of age. It was wartime. It began with the collapse of an empire. An empire that had been meant to be eternal was slowly waiting to die, amid invasions from all sides. In preparation for the many wars, the empire deprived an island nation of its military. That is how it began. Having lost the empire's protection, her nation had no choice but to become an independent, and over time it broke up into smaller nations. The invasions came again and again. Internal conflicts between clans spiraled out of control. Then came a long period of war, which would later come to be known as the Dark Ages. It is during this difficult time that she was born, heir to the throne. A long, tumultuous period of war. The king believed in a mage's prophecy and so eagerly awaited the birth of his worthy successor. But the child born to him was not the child he desired. His child wasn't male. Fated king or not, the child could not assume the throne unless they were a boy. So the girl was entrusted to the king's retainer and was raised as a knight. The king was saddened, but the mage delighted. One's sex had nothing to do with one's worthiness to become king. More than that, the mage was convinced that the girl's absence from the castle until the day of the prophecy was proof she was the true king. So she grew up under the care of a simple and wise old knight as his adopted child and successor. The old knight did not believe in the mage's prophecy. He simply raised her to be a knight and hoped for her to continue growing because he felt something from her that reminded him very much of his own lord. But even without the knight's encouragement or intervention, the girl trained every day to become stronger than anyone else. If an ailing country headed towards its own demise can only be saved by a king, the girl had sworn to wield her sword for that reason, and that reason alone, without anyone ever needing to tell her to do so. And then the prophesied day arrived. Knights and lords from around the nation gathered in hopes of being chosen to be king. If this was to be a contest to determine the best possible king, all assumed the selection would be made in a mounted joust. Instead, all that waited at the site of selection was a naked blade, thrust into a stone. On the hilt of the sword, a glittering gold inscription read, "Whosoever pulleth this sword from this stone is the rightful king of England." Many knights took their turn trying to draw the sword from the stone, but none were able to draw the sword from the stone, and so the knights decided to compete in a joust, as they had originally expected on arriving. The girl was not yet a knight, and so could not participate in the joust. She approached the sword of selection, which sat largely abandoned, its appeal having long since faded, and reached for the sword's hilt. She did not hesitate. Merlin. Wait there just a second. Maybe you should think before you take hold of that. She turned around, and before her stood the most feared mage in the nation. He gave his warning. Once she takes hold of that sword, she will cease to be human. She responded only with a nod. To be king is to no longer be human. She has been resolved to this from the moment she was born. To be king is to kill more than anyone, in protection of everyone. The young girl thought this every night, and lay in bed shivering at the implications until morning. Not a day went by that she was not afraid, but in that moment she pledged that her days of fear were at an end. She drew the sword effortlessly from the stone, and bright light engulfed the whole site of selection. And in that instant, she ceased to be human. A king's sex does not matter. So long as they carry out the function of a king, none would care about a king's appearance, or even bother to pay attention to such a thing. And even if someone noticed the king was a woman, it would not matter, so long as she was a good king. The sword's magical energy must have halted her growth. While many knights found it eerie and feared her, most saw their lord's immortality as a divine gift. And so, the legendary, celebrated age of the king began. The new king in battle was seen as something of a god of war. The king always led from the front. No enemies could stand in her way. Artoria, the god of battle. Hailed as a dragon incarnate, she knew no defeat. In 10 years she fought 12 battles, and never once lost. In those days her chief duty as king was on the battlefield. Not once did she turn back. Not once was she disgraced. She was raised to kingship and fulfilled her obligations without hesitation. Maybe that's why I had a vision of her. Her soul must still be on the battlefield. It's not yet dawn. She stands under the indigo sky and lets the wind whip at her as she stares off into the distance. The sky is high and the clouds slide by overhead. Out in the clear air, sword in hand, she gazes at the great army she's about to confront. That image of her won't leave me. It's burned into my mind now. She and her sword are one. The sword from the stone which chose the king. The brilliance of the sword that determined her fate is also her brilliance. But I tilt my head in wonder at this dream. That sword isn't the one she holds. It's similar, but different. The sword she holds now isn't the one she used last night. But if that's the case, what happened to that incredible sword? Caliburn. I honestly don't know what happens to it in lore, or even in, Fate lore. New servant and new weapon data added. So presumably Saber. True name Artoria. Yep. King Arthur, the legendary hero of England, is immortalized as the once and future king. He's a hero who is widely known as the icon of chivalry. However, he is not just a legend, but also someone who is said to have actually existed. In the earliest chronicles, the real King Arthur is called Du Belleromme, the King of War, a great general who led the 12 kings of northern England, the Gododin, against the other tribes like the Picts and the Scots. There are several theories about the identity of this great general, and some say the king may correspond to two different historical figures. One is Arthur, the Briton. The other is Artorius, the Roman. The accomplishments of both have synthesized into the legend of King Arthur, still famous to this day. See, Artorius, Artoria, it fits. Arthur became king after drawing a sword upon whose blade Merlin the Mage had inscribed the words, "The one who pulls the sword from this stone is the King of England." From there, countless stories unfold about King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. He was born of a tryst between Uther Pendragon, King of Britons, and Blue-Eyed Ingrain, wife to the Duke of Cornwall. Paying the price for pursuing his love, King Uther enlisted the help of Merlin, entrusting the mage with the child born between himself and Igraine. Vowing to rescue Arthur, who carried a great destiny from the royal crisis and guide him on to the correct path, Merlin placed him under the care of Sir Ector, Uther's loyal knight. Ector adopted Arthur as his own son, raising him until the day he drew the Sword of Appointment. The trials and travails that awaited Arthur after pulling out the sword and becoming king would later fill the tapestries of history, becoming a grand narrative that is representative of chivalry in the Middle Ages. King Arthur's accomplishments while reigning over Camelot, the White City, and saving England alongside his many great knights cemented him as a hero. His famous sword, Excalibur, is not the Sword of Appointment. It is the sacred sword that Arthur received from the Lady of the Lake, under Merlin's guidance, after the Sword of Appointment was lost. The Lady of the Lake, Vivienne, became Arthur's fairy guardian after bestowing him with Excalibur. Morgan Le Fay, Arthur's lifelong nemesis, exists as his guardian's fairy Vivienne of verse. However, as a fairy of the lake herself, she too was sworn to protect the King Arthur. To protect the king, King Arthur commanded his Knights of the Round Table to seek out the Holy Grail. This search of the Holy Grail is central to Arthurian legend, but ultimately only 3 knights were dispatched, and Arthur himself did not journey with them. The peerless knight Lancelot could not reach the Grail due to the stain of infidelity on his heart. His son, Galahad, was able to obtain the Grail, but chose to relinquish it. In the end, legend closes with King Arthur's death. Arthur's life is punctuated by clashes with Morgan, his half-sister from a different father, as she attempted to kill him many times, and his legend is ended by a bitter conflict with Mordred, the knight who was born from Morgan's orchestrations. King Arthur's fall begins when his most trusted knight, Lancelot, disappears after dishonoring himself by adulterating with the king's wife, Guinevere. Losing his trusted companion, his holy scabbard, and even the control of the kingdom over the course of his final journey, King Arthur sees his final battle at Camlan. On the verge of his death, he entrusts Excalibur to Sir Bedivere, who returns it to the Lady of the Lake. King Arthur's body is transported by the Ladies of the Lake to Avalon, the land where heroes sleep. It was then foretold that in England's hour of greatest need, Arthur would awaken from his slumber and save his country once again. Arthur carries the red dragon, the symbol of the Britons, on his back, and he himself also bears the dragon attribute. Because he carries the attribute of a dragon, a creature that is the embodiment of mystics and predominance, he has a powerful magical energy characteristic. However, he is not well matched against servants who have a background in dragon slaying. As far as skills, Charisma B, natural ability to command corps. It improves one's own army skill in group battles. It is a rare ability, and B rank is said to be enough to be a king of a country. And we already read off Excalibur. Alright, so that is the new servant weapon. The Golden Sword of Assured Victory. Users, Saber, the sacred sword that represents King Arthur, England's king of knights. Caliburn symbolizes the king whom the mage Merlin led to pull the sword from the stone of appointment. It is distinct from the sacred sword of Excalibur, bestowed by the Fairy of the Lake, and its characteristics as a noble phantasm differ somewhat. However, Saber seems profoundly attached to the sword. Since swords are a symbol of power, the Sword of Kings have always been relegated to an ornate ceremonial role. This marks the largest difference between Excalibur and Caliburn. In exchange for its regal beauty, it is nowhere near effective a weapon as Excalibur. According to legend, Caliburn broke when King Arthur fought in a battle that violated the principles of his chivalry. So that's Caliburn. Distinct from Excalibur. Get a quick drink, because that was a lot of reading. When I awake from my dream, I find myself in my own room. It's bright outside. I must have come back to my room last night, unable to make a decision, then fallen asleep while I was watching over Saber. That was a dream. It was a strange dream. What I saw, I had no way of knowing any of that. And that wasn't the Saber I know. Is it even possible for me to dream of such a thing? But that sword was definitely different from the one Saber had. I rack my brain. Saber's identity has been unclear. And honestly, I still can't get my head around who she really is. Saber is Saber. I can't change the way I act around her, and I don't think Saber would want that in any case. Excuse me. But she looked incredible. She looked really cool with that sword last night, but she looked good with the sword in my dreams, too. It'd be fair to say I was in awe. The sword last night and the sword from my dreams seem to have left one hell of an impression on me. I guess I've got a thing for swords. Oh, you, Shiro, you don't know the half of it. I thought Lancer's spear was beautiful when I saw it too, but my passion for swords is on a whole other level. It would appear I have a thing for swords. Well, that's not really anything new. I draw in a deep breath and reach up, finding my forehead dripping with sweat. It sure is hot here. I wipe the sweat from my forehead. It's winter, but my body feels flushed. I don't know why, but it feels like my blood is getting hotter and it's unsettling. Wonder why. Ever since I saw a Saber sword, my whole body's been hot for some reason. My left hand, the one with my command spells, feels like it's holding a hand warmer. It's the same sensation I felt when Tosaka made me swallow a jewel, like there's something stirring in me, or making me want to run. I take a deep breath, trying to calm myself. Probably still asleep. She still hasn't woken up, but it looks like she's stabilizing. Her breathing is even, and that pained look she had last night has smoothed over. Saber is sleeping peacefully. It's a morning like any other. Maybe if I let her sleep, Saber will recover. That way, I won't have to make her kill anyone. Then she could stay with me, just like she has been. How could I be so selfish? I slam my fist into the wall. My own weakness nauseates me. It's my fault Saber turned out this way. What the hell am I going to do? I stand up without another sound. I don't know when Saber's going to wake up, but I have to make a decision before she does. No, it's not making me make a decision yet. Tosaka's not up yet. The house is completely dead and the corridor feels deserted. No, it only feels like that because I'm so down. I can't decide what to do, so the whole world feels hazy, and I'm just wandering in that grayness. I hear something cutting through the air. There it is again. It's coming from the yard, but that's... I know that sound. Well, I don't feel like making breakfast, so I'll take a walk and check it out. It's probably Archer. It's colder than usual. Must be really cold for me to feel it, feverish as I am. Looks like it might even snow. It's coming from the shed. The sound of something slicing through the air reaches me at regular intervals. As I cross the yard, my breath mists the air. I find him in front of the shed. Given how unsurprised I am to find him, I guess I figured he'd be here. He must have been shooting his arrows. The moment Archer sees me, he lowers his bow in displeasure. That's dangerous. Don't shoot arrows in my house. What are you gonna do if you hit something? Nothing in particular. I wasn't using arrows to begin with. Can't hit anything if you're not shooting anything. He doesn't have to tell me that. The sound was just his bow itself. For some reason, Archer was just plucking his bowstring, not firing arrows. That's a good-looking bow. Didn't want to say as much earlier, but I guess you're a bona fide archer. I wonder. I'm not an archer like you understand it, so even if you ask, I can't teach you anything about archery. Your archery is about shooting arrows for yourself. Mine are used to strike at enemies. You think of archers with a concern for things like civility. His lip curls snidely. I still can't stand this guy. Never thought to ask you about archery in the first place. I was just wondering what you were doing. As you can see, I'm just keeping my skills sharp. The injuries I sustained from Saber have healed. I can't stay on guard duty forever. I see. So his wounds have healed. That means Tosaka will get back into the fight. I turn on my heel. If Tosaka and Archer are going to rejoin the battle, I need to make a decision too. I need to go somewhere. I can think alone. You ever heard the word Zanshin before? It literally means lingering heart, and it's a concept dealing with the time you have after making your move. I feel it's the only thing my archery and your Kyoto discipline have in common. What? I didn't ask for a lecture on the 8 stages of shooting. Just listen. They say the body remains in the same place after you shoot a bow. That's what Zanshin is. Yes, there are 8 movements in the Kyoto called the Shaho Hasetsu, which are the 8 principles of shooting. The final step, Zanshin, is what follows after releasing your arrow. Yeah, well, what about it? I'm talking about preparedness. Zanshin is not about making sure your arrow strikes the target. An arrow has already struck its target by the time it's released. The shooter simply moves according to the image they envision. So they don't need to check whether it's hit or not. If, when you shoot, you think your arrow won't hit, it won't. If you believe it will, it will. That's a very philosophical assessment. That's absurd. No matter how much you might think a shot will hit, some shots won't. If all they had to do was think it will hit, everyone would hit every shot. Every time. Do you really think so? You, at least, hit the target every time. He catches me off guard there. I mean, he's right, but... Well, I don't care about that. The point I'm trying to make is this. Zanshin isn't about determining whether or not your arrow hits. Everyone knows what happens to the arrow they fire. Zanshin is the mindset of accepting the consequences of the shot. Okay, that is actually super deep philosophically. Dang it, Archer, why you gotta go deep on me? So, you know what happens to every shot you take. You just have to be accepting of the consequences of it. See, this hits a little deep because I did get news from my the program that I'm trying to get back into for schooling, and I have essentially 4 tests that I need to do, and I need to do them sequentially. I can't go on to the next if I do not pass one, and it's a one shot at them. And I need to get at least an 80%. And my first one is next Wednesday or Thursday. So I am going to be doing a frick ton of studying. I have been. But Everyone knows what happens to the arrow you fire. The mindset is accepting the consequences of that shot. I'm sure there's more. Like, there's more probably to the principles of archery and such that can be expounded upon, but just this alone, you know what's going to happen when you do it. You have to accept the consequences that follow. So, if I do not prepare properly, I know I will not succeed on these tests. And I'll have to accept the consequences of that. So working inversely, if the consequence I want to accept is me passing, then I need to make sure that the arrow I fire, essentially, is one that has all of my time, all of my effort, all of my dedication into it. That's gonna have to be what I have to do. Philosophizing. Gotta love it. I know that. You're telling me I need to follow through to the very end. Exactly. I heard what happened to Saber. She must have known something like this would happen from the start. Fighting without any chance of renewing her magical energy could only lead to her disappearing. That was already determined then. All that's left is to accept the result. He's telling me that no matter what I decide, no matter what it does to Saber, all I can do is see it through. I turn my back to Archer. This time, I'm going to be the one to leave Archer hanging. Oh, and one more thing. I'll tell you since you don't seem to have figured it out. His voice comes from behind me. Saber must have known she would disappear if she used her noble phantasm. She probably never intended to use her noble phantasm in the first place. This time I hear nothing of his usual sarcasm. But she did use her noble phantasm. There can only be one reason for that. Saber chose protecting you, over keeping herself from disappearing. Except she used it in the bad end as well, and got in a worse state somehow. Explain that, Archer. Never forget that. For once, his voice is completely sincere. He's only telling the truth here. Uh-oh, we're back here. The park is empty as usual. Maybe because it's chiller than usual. There's hardly anyone out. It looks like I'm the only one walking around right now. I slump down onto a bench. Well, I came here to be alone. Now that I'm here, I should think of what to do next. I can't put my decision off any longer. If I want to defeat the other masters and end this Holy Grail war, I need Saber. That's not what this is about, though. I just don't want to lose Saber. But that means I'd have to have Saber attack people, like Ryder did. I can't let her do that. Giving Saber that order is as good as telling her to die. Besides, I think she'd just refuse outright. But when my hand slumps down, I see my left hand. When my head slumps down, I see my left hand. I have 2 command spells left. If I use one, I can force Saber to obey me, even if she refuses. I bite my lip and shake the thought off. It's ridiculous. Time slips by me as I sit on the bench. I have no idea how long I remain sitting there. But just as my fingers start to tremble from the cold. Okay, this is like the same scenario game. Thought I'd never see you again, but you're here. I look up, hearing a voice calling to me. It really is you. Hello, Shiro. You look down. Did something happen? Did you come here all the way here by yourself again? It's not safe. You never know where masters are lurking. I'm about to warn her that other masters might be lurking nearby, waiting to attack. I catch myself realizing how stupid that would be. Ilya's a master. I shouldn't be worried about her. We are enemies. Sorry, I don't really have the time to talk right now. I know we bumped into each other, but I can't talk today. It's going to be really cold, so you should head home. I don't get up from the bench as I dismiss Ilya. There are plenty of things I'd like to talk to her about, but I can't think of anything other than Saber right now. What's going on? Ilya doesn't say anything. She's looking at me as if I'm a stranger. Sorry, I don't mean to be harsh. I've just got a lot on my mind right now. I know. Saber's about to disappear, right? And you're wondering what to do. Just out of nowhere, Ilya's voice has gotten so cold and detached. What a stupid thing to worry about. No wonder you let Rider's Master get away. You just need to kill losers like them. I move my feet. Something tells me this isn't the time to be shifting, so I shift my weight forward to get up. But my body doesn't move, as if I'm entranced by Ilya. How do you know that? There's not much to explain. I was there last night, at the building. I can only watch from inside, though. I try to make my hands and feet move, but nothing happens. No, it feels like the more I try to move, the stiffer they get. It's those eyes. Whenever I see Ilya's red eyes, my senses go dull. Oh, you're already chained down. You really weren't on your guard at all. I thought it'd be easier to capture you if you were all alone, but you're so cute, getting caught so easily. You... It's no use, brother. You can't move now. Soon you won't be able to talk, but there's nothing to worry about. I actually didn't come here to talk today either. Ilya's eyes blaze with murderous intent. This is Ilya as I saw her the other night. Berserker's master. Do you plan to kill me right here? I grit my teeth and gather all my strength. But my fingers won't so much as budge. It's like Ilya's stare has frozen every nerve in my body. Yep, there's no reason for you to remain a master, right? If Saber disappears, you'll be all alone. I can't have you going on being a master. I can kill you easily if you have no other means to fight. Ilya raises her hand. Her slender white fingers reach for my chest. This is different. I'm glad I found you before the others killed you. Fisheye lens. So good night, brother. Saber's going to disappear anyway, so the sooner the better, right? Okay, this is exactly what happened last time. My vision fades. My limbs have gone completely numb, and now I can't see either. Did I make a mistake earlier on? How long have I been stuck in this darkness? Before I can figure out whether I'm alive or dead, I lose consciousness. I must have made a mistake earlier on. That's the only thing I can think of. My body is burning. Even if my consciousness has fallen into darkness, the burning of my body tells me I'm still alive. Yes, that must mean I'm still alive. Even so, it may only be temporary. Ilya even said that. Kill you as easily if you have no other means to fight. She's absolutely right. Without Saber, I can't fight a proper battle. A holy grail war is a battle between servants. And there's no way I can go up against servants. That's been proven more than enough by now. Each time I got absolutely thrashed. Like Saber said, all I can do against servants is try to survive for as long as possible. I couldn't even do that. I was cut to pieces, and even thrown out of a third-story window. It's only this weird, inexplicable thing going on with my body that's kept me alive. It's so frustrating. It makes me so angry. In the face of an unbeatable opponent, I couldn't stop the catastrophe in front of me on my own. Even though I decided to fight. I said I was going to fight as a master, and vowed not to hurt anyone, but I couldn't even keep those promises. I'm pissed off. The champions of justice I strive to emulate when I was young always had to win, or there would be no point. My body is burning. Every inch of me trembles with the need to win. Excuse me. But I have neither the means to win, nor even a way to fight. What good am I? I can't even fight alongside Saber without bringing her down. Another mistake. You're not fit for fighting, Shiro Emiya. Your battle is supposed to be a mental one. A fight against your own self. Suddenly, I remember Archer saying that. You haven't got a prayer of winning once the battle starts. None of your skills are worth a damn against servants. I know that. I've certainly been reminded more than enough. Then at least imagine it. If you can't possibly beat the opponent in reality, then beat them in your imagination. If you can't win by yourself, imagine something that can win. You don't have to remind me. I can only win in my own head. What can I imagine that would ever help me win? I can't imagine beating a servant. I don't have such a wild imagination as to fool myself. Any fantasy I come up with will be full of loose threads that'll come unraveled. My third-rate imagination hasn't got a prayer against these incredible servants. That's why. Who do I win against? And how do I win? I'm still searching for that answer. Am I really searching for it? The golden sword. It's meant only for her. Hey, Viper, welcome to the stream. Happy things. I don't want it for myself. It's so beautiful. Just once, I'd like to hold it in my hands if I can. I guess this is just a bad habit I picked up as an untrained mage. Since all I can do is look within myself, I tend to dream about stuff I shouldn't. I should at least be allowed to dream. Okay, so this, I guess, is the difference to some level between the bad end and this one. I still don't get, like, why Shiro is had the dream when we went to see Saber use Excalibur. Okay, it's because we saw Saber use Excalibur. Never mind. I just told myself why Shiro had the dream about Saber's past life. Never mind. I talked myself into it. First, I imagine the thing's basic structure, then reproduce it. Guess there's not much point in strengthening here. If strengthening is the act of applying something to an existing object, there's not much point into doing that to something that doesn't even exist. That means I need to work harder if I'm going to remember that sword. No, Viper, no! Don't fade into the void! Resist the call of the void! Resist it! This is well before the basics. This is from before Kiritsugu taught me strengthening. The magecraft process I thought up on my own, and packed with trivial steps. Let's see. How did I do it? How did I give it form? When I come to, I have no idea where I am. Where am I? This place isn't just unfamiliar. There's a luxurious canopy bed, and the plush carpet is ankle deep. There's even a stone fireplace, and it's clearly not a decoration. What I initially take for wallpaper, I realize on inspection is actually patterns engraved on the wall. I've gotten used to fancy decorations like the ones in Shinji's mansion, but this is something else entirely. It's a little embarrassing to say out loud, but this place is like a castle from a fairy tale. My vision blurs. My body feels strangely heavy. Maybe I'm having circulation problems or something. I feel like I might fall back asleep if I relax even a little. What the hell happened? I try to get my clouded mind working. It was... Alright. Elia paralyzed me, and I just passed out. So, Elia's captured me. There's nobody in the room. My body feels heavy, but not so bad that I can't even lift a finger like before. If I really work at it, I might be able to lift an arm. I'm tied up? My drowsy mind suddenly jolts to full alertness. I realize I'm in danger, and so study my surroundings carefully. You just now realize you're in danger. Well done, Shiro Emiya. Well done. I'm in a chair. My hands are bound behind my back. I'm handcuffed. No, my wrists are just tied with rope. It's not as bad as I imagined, but I still can't move. My whole body is weirdly tingly, and I can't get up with my arms tied behind me. Wonder how long I've been here. Is there, nope, no clock here. There's nothing in here to tell me what time it is. A window. There's a window behind me. I try to turn to get a look, but the curtains are closed, so I can't see outside. All I can say for sure is that the sun's set. I ran into Ilya in the morning, so it's been at least half a day. I don't have time for this. I have no idea where I am, but I need to get back to Saber as fast as I can. Saber's in a weakened state. I can't even be more of a burden to her by letting something like this happen. I try to make my arms move. If I'm going to escape, I have to do something about these ropes around my wrists. Huh? The door opens. I go still just as Ilya enters the room. Oh, you finally woke up. Morning, brother. How are you feeling? Ilya's not acting at all like she had earlier. The coldness in her eyes is gone, and she's back to acting like the cheerful girl she'd been at the park the other day. What's wrong? You don't look so good. Still can't move? That's weird. You should at least be able to talk by now. Ilya peers into my face, looking puzzled. She seems genuinely concerned for me. I'm fine. I can talk, and my mind's clear enough to understand that I've been captured. Oh, are you complaining? Did you know prisoners are usually supposed to go into the basement cell? But I felt bad at the thought of doing that to you, so I brought you to my room. I don't know if that's good or bad, but at least I understand what's going on a little better. I'm getting a clearer picture of what happened. I've been captured, and this is where you live. I speak flatly, trying to kill my emotions. Until I understand completely what's happening here, I just need to listen. That's right. Remember I told you I live in a castle in the forest? This is the castle, in the middle of the big forest. There's nothing else around it. It takes a few hours just by car to get to your city. There's no chains of a rescue out here, and nobody will come to bother us either. I see. Okay, why you do this to me? If you're gonna kill me, you could have done it at the park. Why would I? I don't intend to kill you. You're mine. I'll kill the other masters, but you're special. I locked you up here so nobody could bother us. Okay. I find myself recoiling. Ilya pushes her face close to me, ignoring my agitation. What are you? I know it's inappropriate, but the way Ilya sits on my lap has my heart racing. She might not be heavy, but the way she's sitting on my lap has me thinking kinda graphic thoughts. Good gracious, Shiro! Yep, I knew it. You're special, Shiro. Want to be my servant? If you say you'll be my servant, I won't kill you. If you just nod, I'll spare you. Ilya's words are so pure and heartfelt that I know if I nod once, it'll be a choice I can't unmake, and I will absolutely come to regret it. On the other hand, if I refuse, that purity will turn into pure wickedness. With Ilya leaning close, my mind grinds to a shrieking halt. She's not saying this just because she likes me. This is more like an interrogation, a matter of whether I want to live or die. This is a no-brainer. You don't have Saber anymore. You don't have any way of fighting. That means there's no reason for you to remain a master. No, Saber hasn't disappeared yet, and I'm not going to let it happen. Oh, really? But it would be so easy to kill you in this state. Just give in and stay here. If you stay by my side forever, I'll protect you forever. Ilya presses close against me. I'm not sure what'll happen if I refuse, but I still can't agree. I can't. Step away, Ilya. No matter what you say, Ilya presses her index finger to my lips. She giggles in amusement and watches me in bewilderment. You really don't understand. Listen, you're like a bird in a cage. It's my decision whether to keep you alive or kill you. You shouldn't say anything that might make me mad. I waited 10 years for this. Killing you quickly would just be boring. What? Ilya talks like she's asking for a toy. The sheer cold-heartedness in her voice sends a shiver down my spine. This is your last chance, brother. I'm only asking this one more time. Ilya's eyes shine with hope. Shiro, be mine. Ilya's tone is bewitching and brooks no refusal. Well, it's about time we get a choice, so overwrite the save there. I have a feeling that we're at a bad end scenario here. Alright, there was that one. I don't remember what that choice branch was, though. But I like how even though this happens on day 11, it's all the way back in day 10. It's hilarious, but yeah, so I do think that this is a bad end choice. It's curious that there's no no option in the middle. That's like a really weirdly long split in the path choices. Oh, it's not the first time, but that does tell me more than ever that there is a bad end here. Hey, Viper, welcome back. Welcome back. Nope, nope. All's good. All's good. You know, she's 18, so it's all good. Unless the FBI is bursting open to take Ilya away, because I think Shiro is 17, so, you know. If anybody would be taken away, it would be Ilya. Yeah, it would be Ilya actually taken away, because she's the adult in this situation. As weird as it is. But I think that this first choice, where Shiro agrees to be Ilya's, is probably a bad end here. Because, you know, Ilya's kind of strangely more evil than I thought she would be. Granted, the only interpretations I really have of Ilya is, or like, proper Ilya is from Heaven's Feel, and even then in the movie, she wasn't in the movie too much. And so far she has demonstrated she's kind of cutthroat. So I'm pretty sure, and given the fact that she has killed me like 3 times, I think this first choice is a bad end. So let's go for number 4, kill from Ilya. I don't know how serious Ilya is. I'm sure telling me to be her servant is some sort of metaphor, and even if she makes me her familiar, nothing's going to change. I still won't be of any use, and besides, Ilya has Berserker. Ilya doesn't have any kind of use for a half-assed mage like me. Answer me. Will you be with me? Ilya's voice practically brims with expectation. And so, Fine, I'll be your familiar. I lie evasively for the time being. That expression is so adorable. Okay, this will be exciting. We'll be together forever, brother. What? Ilya starts jumping up and down. She must be really excited. Also, I love how the music is just like so upbeat here. Even though this is most assuredly a bad end, it's like such peppy music. Like, yay, you did the right choice. I feel guilty. Ilya's holding me prisoner, so I had to lie. But I feel bad seeing her so happy, so maybe I can indulge Ilya a little bit. Uh-oh. A wave of dizziness crashes over me. An invisible weight settles across my shoulders. Increasingly uneasy, I find myself calling out to her. I'll see you back soon then, Viper. What is it, Shiro? Oh, I'll undo the restraints on you. Your wrist for you. That's not what I just feel a little sick. Sudden nausea grips me and I find myself gasping for breath. What is it? Do you feel sick? Does your body feel like it's weighing you down? Do you have this indescribable sense of anxiety? She knows what's happening. She smiles. Also, I heard the like discordant tones just interject in that cheery music. It's a cruel smile like she sees right through me. Yep, I know everything about you because you formed a contract with me. So now you can't hide anything from me. Oh god. A strange sense of unease drives me to my feet. It's not at all like the more immediate fear her presence caused me in the past, but my body refuses to move. This isn't Ilya's magical energy affecting me. My body just can't move. What did you do? You did this to yourself. You feel sick because you lied to me. You're a nice person, so you just hurt yourself. But, well, you didn't really put your heart into your last response, so I'll ask again. Shiro, you're mine now, right? The weight on my back digs into me, seeming to squirm into my skin. Come on, admit it, Shiro. Your soul is already mine. Uh-oh. I hear myself wheezing. My mouth opens on its own, forming words in quick, shallow breaths. Alright, I'll be Ilya's familiar. Yes, I, Ilya's Veil, have accepted you, Shiro Emiya. Now I have your soul, Shiro. Ilya, I need to get up. I need to tear off these ropes. I need to run as far and as fast as I can. If she's in the way, I need to punch her or something to force her aside. Otherwise, I don't even think what might happen to me. Yeah, I'm in such a dire situation. Yet, for some reason, I can't move. My limbs don't even react, as if to tell me I'm no longer in control of my body. Oh, don't worry, Shiro. I've just shut off all commands going to your body for now. For now, your body's just keeping your soul alive. I'll have a new body to serve as its container for it soon. Human bodies are so fragile, so I'm going to transfer your consciousness to something else, so it doesn't even matter if it breaks. Oh, but it won't matter if I tell you anyway. I doubt you'd understand even if I did explain it to you. Getting used to it yourself will probably be better than being told. Celia, these right? I'm going to start the port now, so bring me some sort of doll for a container. I can't even talk anymore. I'm physically here, but it feels like I'm watching everything that's happening through a screen. Here you are, my lady. So are we to perform an apport, you say? Yes, I really don't want to wear it, but I'm going to put on the dress of heaven because I don't even want a chance messing up. Liz, can you prepare it? It's done, but are you sure, Ilya? What did you just say? Is it effective like you trying to give me her opinion? I'm not wrong here. Shiro said it's okay, so I can make him my familiar. No, you're not in the wrong, my lady. Please watch your mouth. We needn't concern ourselves with a mere human like him. If anything, he should be honored, even grateful to be able to experience such a miracle. You indulge Ilya too much. Do you realize that might not be a good thing? Refrain from calling Milady by her name. Miss Ilya's Veil is the successor of the Einsburn miracle. She is nothing like such failures as us. Ilya, let's begin. Cella's annoying. The calmer of the two women appears to be maids approach me. Liz, or the woman called Liesrit, says, I'm sorry, you can't go back to that vessel anymore. My vision goes black, like someone just flipped a switch. Oh, yes, my lady. It seems someone entered the forest. What would you like to do? Shall we send out Berserker? I only hear voices. This is so strange. My consciousness is not connected to my limbs, and my senses are disconnected. If my body and senses have no connection, then how the hell am I hearing voices? Of course not. They came all the way over here, so it'd be rude of us to not show them our hospitality. You two, as well as Berserker, should hide. I'm going to show off my Shiro when Rin and Saber arrive. I'll let Berserker do whatever he wants after. She giggles. I feel nothing, and yet I feel like someone's taking my arm. I'm feeling faint. I don't know what will happen to me next, but it seems my fight has already ended. Bad end. Shiro gets turned into a doll. Truly a bad end. Truly. Let's see the dojo. Hello. I don't think I need to remind you all, but this is Tiger Dojo is the place that offers relief to those suffering from bad ends. Your oasis in a scorching desert. This time we're celebrating lucky number 7. And it's the monumental episode where Shiro finally became mine. A round of applause, please, everyone. Congratulations, Ilya. Hey, who would celebrate that, you damn devil child? Honestly, what happened to all that talk from last time about you getting depressed because you were always having to be the guide leading Shiro into hell? But Shiro said it was okay on his own this time. It's not my fault. And I bet Shiro is happy. From now on, Shiro, me, Scylla, and Liz can live happy together ever after. When you put it that way, it sounds like paradise. Well, it certainly sounds delightful to be with a princess who's barely reached maturity. Yep, it's a gift neither Taiga, Rin, nor Sakura have. It's my privilege and mine alone. And so Shiro is going to spend the rest of his life in this depraved honeymoon with me. Long story short, that whole segment got axed. Ooh. Senpai, that really hurt. You promised not to mention that. Quit being so arrogant, Jim Shorts. Hey, you there. Don't you bully my first disciple. She got away again. Hey, what even is that thing? Ooh, are you okay, Ilya? Yes, ma'am. Those words just got me all hyped up. My senior's words are always so profound. I have a feeling they formed a bond much deeper with her mentor here. Oh, by the way, disciple number 1, you keep saying you'll make dolls out of people. Don't tell me that doll. No, it can't be. Oh, you don't like scary stories, Taiga? Or do you enjoy stories about dolls coming alive? Well, anyway, this episode of Tiger Dojo's finished. You made the wrong choice again, so go back to the previous scene and do it over. Oh, you're trying to change the subject, mentor. I really think you should listen to what your disciple has to say. I shall not. I hate scary stories and horse racing stories. Oh, come on. It'll be fine. This is just a stuffed animal. This doll thing will come up again later, so I'll explain it then. Be patient until then, and keep Saber and Rin company. Yeah, restart from the most recent decision. So that was indeed a bad end, as I thought it would be. So, no. Shiro Emiya will not be Ilya's. I don't even need to think about it. And shit, even I only have so much patience. Every single one of them is sure Saber is going to disappear. Saber won't disappear. I'm going to fight with her until the end. I can't let this destroy the oath we made. I can't do what you're asking me to. I have Saber. As long as Saber's around, I'm going to keep fighting as a master. Excuse me. Soft gasp. For a second, her red eyes snapped open as if she'd just gone into full rigor mortis. So you're gonna betray me too, Shiro. Ilya backs away. She looks down but maintains her composure. Fine. If you're not going to listen to me, I'm not going to listen to you either. I've been letting you do whatever you want, but that ends now. Ilya's voice is dripping with hostility now. There's something terrible lurking behind that malice. Wait right here. I'll be just a minute. Wait, what are you going to do, Ilya? Oh, nothing. I'm just going to kill Saber and Rin. If I kill the two of them, that'd make you feel kind of guilty, right? Don't be ridiculous. Saber and Tosaka have nothing to do with this. I'm only saying I can't be with you for my own reasons. Oh, really? Well, I'm still killing them. Once that's over, it'll be your turn. If you won't be mine, you're useless to me. I hear Ilya's footsteps, moving off. Ilya's serious. She really means to go kill Saber and Tosaka. Stop, Ilya. Saber and Tosaka have nothing to do with this. I'm the one you captured, so if you're going to hate someone, just hate me. I have a reason. I can't leave any other master alive. Isn't that how a Holy Grail war works? You dummy. Don't talk about killing people like it's so easy. You shouldn't ever do that. You're a kid. You shouldn't even be thinking about this kind of thing. Ilya stares at me in disbelief. Too late. I've already killed a master, brother. She sounds so joyful as she says it. Yesterday, though, I thought you were going to take care of him, so I didn't expect to do it. In that instant, I surprisingly understand exactly what she's talking about. Ilya was in the building last night, which means she must have seen the master running for his life as the perfect prey. You didn't. Sorry, I only did because you didn't. I don't actually like taking other people's stuff. She doesn't sound guilty at all. It probably meant nothing to her. Shinji's dead! Makes me realize something. I've probably known this since the moment we first met. She really doesn't know the difference between good and evil. That innocent laugh is just as much Ilya as the merciless laugh I hear now. It's not that Ilya has a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. Ilya, however angelic she may look, is a devil. Well, I'm off. When I get back, it'll be your turn, so do your best to escape. Then again, a little bird in captivity will remain in captivity because it can't escape. Knowing you won't be able to escape this little cage. Ilya leaves. She's absolutely right, of course. She knows nothing of threats or tactics, so she just says what's true. But I can't stay here forever. I need to escape and meet up with Saber before Ilya can attack her. I shake myself, trying to loosen the ropes around my wrist. Maybe she doesn't really think I can escape. There's no one else here. If I'm not being watched, even I can manage to get out of some ropes, but... Damn, I still can't. My body just won't listen to me. My limbs move, but they're heavy as lead, and just trying to move at all is exhausting. Ilya knew I couldn't escape because of this. I can't move like this. Even if I get out of this rope, I won't be able to escape the room if I can hardly move. My whole body feels heavy, not because I'm tired. Yeah, I haven't been able to move since I looked into Ilya's eyes. They must be mystic eyes. I heard truly superior mages can perform some kind of magecraft just by making eye contact with their target. Restraint is a common effect of mystic eyes, so that's probably what's going on here. Eyes are how we take in visual information, and so are susceptible to suggestions and spells. And that's why most mages employ some sort of protection on their eyes, to block out other mages' magecraft. Tosaka would be so mad if she found out all it took to paralyze me was a suggestion, not even a spell. Well, at least that was from a mystic eyes learned through magecraft. Some monsters are born with mystic eyes and don't even need to lock eyes with their target. And here all they need to do is look to use whatever ability they have, but it's also extremely rare for people to have powers like that. And... luckily, Ilya's mystic eyes aren't unique or special. They're just a means of sending magical energy at their target. And that means there must be a way to dispel the effect. Ilya's magical energy is invading my nerves, preventing me from moving. If I can get rid of the magical energy, that should fix my paralysis. It's simple. If there's a buildup of mud, then all I have to do is flush it out to clean out. I close my eyes and focus inward, on my own body. I may not have the skill to detect and remove foreign magical energy that's invaded my body, but I don't need anything like that so long as I'm dealing with magical energy that hasn't become a curse and taken root in my body. If Ilya's magical energy is lingering, stagnant in my body, I just need a strong flow of magical energy through my body to flush it out. Sorry, it's crude, but it's all I can do. I apologize to my body for what I'm about to put it through. All I have to do is focus on my daily routine. The ritual where I force a foreign nerve down my spine. No, not anymore. I don't need to build it from scratch anymore. Now all I have to do is flip the switch in my head. Instead of creating a magical circuit in my body, I just have to switch my nerves into a magic circuit. There's the line. I remember the spell to focus myself. You don't use spells to change the world around you. They're to be used on yourself, to empower you to change the world. For mages, they're a way to initiate a kind of self-transformation. Spells are the first, most basic magecraft used to create a mystic just for you, a command that will only work on you. Basic structure. Analysis. My blood flow accelerates. Power builds in my blood. My body's becoming a machine for circulating magical energy. Probably thanks to the gem Tosaka made me swallow. Normally this would take me at least an hour. Now I'm able to do it almost instantly. Composition. Analysis. I don't even need to flip the switch at this rate. I can just let the magical energy circulate and let my hands go. Actually, I say flip the switch, but I still haven't found the switch to begin with. Heat rushes into me. I try to get control over my pounding heart, and my hands slip from my bucking reins. Blood spurts from my mouth. I must have opened a vein or torn something inside myself. I channeled enough magical energy to flush the mud that had invaded me, so it's no wonder I'm throwing up blood. Luckily, I don't feel any pain. Maybe I'm not in pain because of that self-healing thing I have. It's an abnormality of my body that I still don't understand, but I'm delighted to have it at a time like this. The ability to heal any non-fatal wounds is my biggest and only strength right now. Welcome back, Viper. I do need to be careful not to rely on it too much, though. Since I still have no idea how it works, relying on it too much risks losing it all. So if I can't rely on miracles, I don't understand. Now there's just the rope. I undo the rope. My wrists were bruised, but I wasn't bound tightly enough to cut off circulation. I don't think Ilya tied me up, but I wasn't bound very tightly. Besides, I doubt it was Ilya who carried me in here anyway. Who here other than Ilya might not be all that strong? It definitely wasn't Berserker. If he'd tied me up, he'd have snapped my hands right off. I rise to my feet as I try to crack a joke. Ow. I can control my body, but I've pushed it too far. While I may not be injured, magical energy is raging through my body. Just moving around is likely to tear my insides up. It's probably the pain. Dizziness and nausea rack my entire body. I have no feeling at the ends of my arms and legs. I'm not going to get home before Ilya gets back. Not like this. Why am I being such a coward? I don't have time for that kind of thinking. I slap my cheeks and start walking. Huh? As soon as I lean against the wall and start towards the door, I hear something on the other side of the wall. Footsteps. More than one set of footsteps. People are approaching my door and talking. They stop right in front of my door. Someone's on patrol. Damn it, at the worst possible moment. There's no time to hide. I need to... Okay. More choices! Very interesting. Get a quick drink. Alright. So, what is the right choice here? What about the bed over there? Okay, so we have hiding, we have faking, we have fighting. Excuse me, I need another drink. My throat is killing me, by the way. Just a bit of a sore throat that I've been dealing with all day. So, hiding is probably the worst thing that you can do in a situation like this. Like, even back in the day when I went to high school and we had certain drills that I don't think I can really say without being, punished by Twitch, they always encouraged hiding against the walls to make it seem like nobody's in there. But come on, they know somebody's going to be inside the classroom. I've always been a proponent of fighting. When you're in a life or death situation, you don't run and hide. You don't fake it till you make it. You fight. Victory goes to the one who makes the first move. I need to fight. I can't hide, and I don't have time for that anyway. I need to get back out there just as fast as I can get back to Saber. The door opens. I push myself up against the wall right behind the door. A scout opens the door, but doesn't enter the room. Hold on. The chair is visible from the entrance, even without coming in. Whoever is peeking in will know what's going on just from seeing the empty chair where I'm supposed to be sitting. Ah, crap. They call for backup right now. Escaping will get a lot harder. I'm just gonna have to hurry out and take on whoever's on patrol. I push off the wall and rush toward the door. And then, they must have figured out I was hiding because they step into the room as soon as I jump out. Take this! No chance of stopping now. Whoever I'm up against, I just need to knock them out and escape. Okay, okay, I thought Shiro was about to try and deck one of the maids, who I do know is, they're kind of badass. They're battle maids. And while I was all, gung-ho, you need to fight, I was sure that was going to lead to another bad ending. I did not think Saber would be here. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, those drills are kind of BS. I mean, you see it when it happens in the news, what people actually tend to do, and what the results of the hide strategy tend to be. I freeze. My mind goes blank. The very person I have to go save is standing right in front of me. How? Why are you here? Why? I should hardly need to tell you. Servants need not explain the need to protect their master. It's my duty to come to your aid, knowing you've been captured. You're disappearing again? Jeez, Viper, you just keep coming and going, well, how did you know I got captured? Or actually, why are you here, Saber? This is Ilya's hideout. You shouldn't be coming anywhere near here right now. I should be the one asking you. What were you thinking? Excuse me. I repeatedly told you to never go out alone, but you allowed Ilya's veil to capture you, easily at that, and bring you here. You have failed as a master. I insist you make an apology for this. I know I was careless, but seriously, why are you here? You can barely move, so what were you thinking, coming to Ilia's stronghold in this state? I could ask the same of you. Servants protect their masters. It does not matter where you were taken, even Ilias Vale's stronghold. Saber is as blunt as ever. She's exactly as she's always been. This isn't the weak, slumbering Saber from last night. Why have you clammed up? I knew it. You were injured in your captivity. No, that's not it. Don't worry about me. I'm just glad to see her doing better. I'm genuinely relieved. I'm surprised to see Saber here, but I'm much happier to see she's herself. I know it's selfish of me to think this way, but I think this is how Saber should be. I'm sorry, Saber. I don't fully understand, but you came to rescue me, right? Yes. It's a servant's duty to rescue her master. Thanks. I'm really glad you came. What a relief. Everything sorted itself out. Now I just need to get out of here with Saber. Oh, wait a minute. Is that Tosaka? Are you real and are you really right here? You look better than I thought you would. Maybe I didn't need to come. That's what I said, Rin. I told you to just leave Shiro Emiya be. All he does is cause trouble for everyone around him, then somehow survive himself. This would have been the perfect opportunity to just leave him to die on his own. Please, Archer, hold your tongue. I asked for your help, yes, but that does not give you the right to insult Shiro. You talk big now that your master is safe. First the master, then the servant. They don't have an ounce of gratitude for their own allies. Well, we're gonna end up fighting eventually. It's probably best to not have too much in the way of fond feelings. He must have hit a nerve, as Saber grows silent. This guy. He's not just unfriendly to me, he treats Saber the same way. Enough, I hope you haven't forgotten the situation we're in right now, Archer. We don't have time for bickering. We need to get out of here before Ilia's Veil comes back. Wait a minute. You came here knowing this is where Ilia lives, and actually, Ilia left saying she was going to go and kill Tosaka and Saber. That means Ilia and Tosaka passed each other. That's a relief. I think Ilia's headed to my place right now. If you guys hadn't come here, you would have had to fight her there. Yeah, looks that way. I did see Ilia and Berserker head outside, though I must admit that if they hadn't left, we wouldn't have been able to sneak in here in the first place. I get it. Saber and Tosaka only managed to pull off something so bold because they saw Ilia leave. She's bold as ever, but this time that brazenness worked to our advantage. I'm impressed. We'll talk later. I braced myself knowing this was the Einsburn hideout, but it would be much better if we could avoid confronting any of them at all. And Saber is in no state to go up against Berserker right now. Tosaka gestures for me and Saber to separate. What do you mean Saber's in no state? She's got her color back and she's acting like herself. You should really know better than to be so blindly optimistic. Saber hasn't recovered at all. Can't you see she's barely able to stand? Rin, you promised to keep that to yourself. Sorry, I need to go back on my word. Keeping quiet won't help anyone, and this isn't a secret we can keep forever anyway. That may be true, but... She sounds so pained. And now I see nothing has changed about her situation. Is Tosaka telling the truth? Yes, Rin is correct. It's embarrassing to admit, but I'm in no position to fight as Saber right now. At best, I can be your shield. I figured as much. She's too weak to even armor herself up, but she insisted she come with us. She probably figured she'd defend her master even if she couldn't really fight. She's so weak she can't even arm herself. She was willing to become my shield since she couldn't fight. What kind of absurd nonsense is she saying? I'm sorry, Shiro. I know I'm useless as a servant in my current state, but I can at least be your shield. I know this is not ideal for you, but it is the only... Oh, come on. Why did Saber never think about herself? Why does she only ever worry about everyone else? The same could be asked of you, Shiro. Now with that, of course I'm not happy. Tosaka, why did you bring Saber? Don't you realize Saber needs more help than me right now? What? I tried to stop her. Saber refused to listen, and we wouldn't have been able to pinpoint where you were without her in the first place. I know it was risky, but we needed Saber. You still... I want to tell her she shouldn't have brought Saber, but I stopped myself. I have no business criticizing. This is only happening because I went and got captured. Tosaka and Saber were just doing what they thought was right. Enough squabbling, just leave it alone for now, Rin. Masters are sensitive to any changes in their homes, so we don't have time to explain everything in detail just now. You're right, Iliasville must be surprised we're gone, so she's probably coming back real quick. Fine, let's talk later. Right now our priority is getting out of this castle. Are you okay with that, Shiro? Shiro, we should. Yeah, but if Saber's as bad as she was last night, it'll be hard for her to even walk right now. I don't want to push Saber any harder than I already have. Honestly, you all underestimate me. Saber? Even low on magical energy, you can still fight better than Shiro. If anything, I'm more concerned about Shiro disappearing. You may have not noticed, but your magical energy is disordered, is it not? Well, it's nothing I can manage. I'm totally fine, really. Then we are in the same state, you and I. I may be slightly uncomfortable, but it's not unbearable. This may all be difficult to accept given how quickly it has happened, but let us follow Rin for now. We can discuss this further once we have arrived home. Saber encourages me to go. I give up. She looks so serious, so determined that I can't worry anymore. You're right. There are tons of things I want to talk about, but they can wait until we all get home safely. I want to ask about Saber's condition, and I want to thank her for coming to rescue me. But now isn't the time to ask her about that dream I had. Okay, let's go, Saber. I nod and get moving as best I can. Every step is a supreme effort, but this isn't the time for whining. Even weakened as she is, Saber came all the way here. This is a hallway? This corridor wouldn't be out of place in a museum. Elia's castle must be massive. Hey, no time to gawk. Even if we make it out of the castle, the forest surrounding it is huge. If we don't hurry, it'll be morning before we're out. A forest, so are we really in the mountains? Are you talking about the forest that's a couple of hours from Miyama by car? Yep, we're in the Ainsburn's secret castle. Once we make it out, it'll take a few hours to get through the forest. It's nighttime right now, so we should be out of the forest before the sun rises. Tosaka heads through the hallway, not hesitating for a moment. She's probably heading toward whatever door they snuck in through. I figured it was night, but how long have I been here? I figured it was about a half a day, but maybe it's actually been a few days. Iliasville captured you in the morning, so it's been about half a day. Though the date has changed, so you have spent a day in captivity, I suppose. I see. Sorry. No, please do not apologize. Iliasville held you captive for a considerable amount of time, but you're still safe. That must be proof you did not submit mentally, even though your body was captive. That may be true, but... Yes, Iliasville may look like a young girl, but she's still an Ainsburn mage. Had you submitted to her, you would no longer be yourself. And it's not as if I did not consider that possibility. I came to this castle fully prepared to find you dead. Which is why I was so glad to reunite with you, Shiro. My master has shown me that he is alright, so I can't possibly show myself to be any worse off. I feel the same. I couldn't stand not knowing if Saber was safe or not. Hey, are you too serious about escaping, right? If you guys fall behind, I'm gonna leave you. Tosaka pops her head up from behind the bend of a corridor to yell at us. Crap, this really isn't the time for us to chat. Let's hurry, Saber. I break into a run, urging Saber to do the same. Everything hurts, but I grit my teeth and keep going. I drive my aching body on, following Tosaka. As I half limp, half run, Saber brings up the rear. She must be in a lot of pain, too. She's pretending to not be, but she's in no condition for this. If it's hard for you, I want to tell her I'll give her a helping hand, but I stop myself. Saying that will just make Saber dig her heels and make her more determined to not accept my help. All I can do is keep an eye on her. Once Saber's too exhausted to complain, I'll just carry her. Honestly, Saber can be incorrigible sometimes. She has to be forced to even take a break. Good lord, they are like two mirrors. They're like a pair of siblings. They're like twins. And so, with Tosaka leading the way, we managed to get to the exit. And you said this was an exit, but this is the entrance, Tosaka. What are you on about? You do know you can go in and out of entrances, right? Tosaka hurries down the stairs. It's a much smaller entrance way, in this than it is in the anime. Well, I'm in no position to complain. Saber and I head down the stairs and into the hall. It looks like a lobby. All you have to do now is head out through the big door at the other end of the hall, and we're out. Okay, we should be okay now that we've come this far. The problem now is how to get through the forest. We might be able to use the cover of the darkness to reach the main road. We really don't want to be here when Iliasvale comes back and finds you're gone. By the time she comes back, it'll be morning. Hey, what's with that look, Shiro? You've obviously got a problem. Nothing. Just kind of remembering how ballsy you are. You have the weirdest thoughts at the weirdest times. Well, it's more getting at her just walking into the enemy stronghold through the front door. Well, whatever. Let's just head out. I remember the way back from here, so we won't get lost. We head toward the entrance. A long, narrow hall extends from the lobby, and at the end of it is an enormous door. The hall is, unbelievably, about 30 meters long. I'm reminded that we're standing in an actual castle, but in the next moment... Going home already? What a shame after you came all the way here. Ilia shouldn't be here, but her giggling voice echoes up and down the hall. I whirl around. Everyone skids to a stop. The instant we see our enemy, we know we're dead as soon as we turn our backs to them. Tosaka's voice trembles. Back at the other end of the hall, we see her standing at the top of the stairs we just descended. She shouldn't be here. Ironically, it's a similar arrangement to our first meeting. Elia is standing above us with Berserker behind her. Berserker's presence is overwhelming. Now that I can assess his servant's strength, I can understand what a monster he really is. We can't do this. Even if Saber was at full strength, Berserker is just too powerful. It wouldn't even be a battle. That monster can't be beat. Not in a fight. If we're ever going to beat Berserker, we have to figure out how to do it without fighting him. In other words, if we want to live, we'll need to stay far away from Berserker. Good evening. I'm so happy you came to see me. Rin. Ilia's voice is cheerful and bouncy. She's smiling that same smile I saw the night we met. Innocent but merciless. She won't settle to squash us like bugs. And that's when I realized. We're not going to escape. Period. No matter what I do, I can't stop Ilia. Even if I try to draw Ilia's attention, that won't let Tosaka and the others escape. What's wrong? You're so boring when you just keep your mouth shut. I'm giving you some time, so I suggest writing a will while you still can. She giggles. But we don't have time for these kinds of games. We need to run to the entrance the second we can find an opening. Even if we know we'll never get an opening, all we can do is wait and hope. Then let me ask you one thing. Even in this situation, Tosaka takes a step closer towards Ilia. I didn't sense your presence coming back. Were you hiding this entire time? Yes, I didn't go anywhere. I was watching all of you make fools out of yourselves from here. Oh, really? So that wasn't the real you heading outside? Right, I knew you were coming. I'm the lord of this place, so I should entertain my guests, right? Right then, the giant vanishes. I'm not sure if it jumped or just moved. The next thing I know, Berserker appears in the middle of the lobby, creating a whirlwind. This is the end for us. If we retreat towards the entrance, he'll slice us in half with that axe sword the moment we turn our backs to him. But if we're dead, we're dead if we stay here too. Our only other option is to challenge that walking mess of death, however futile it will be. Are we done talking? Then let's begin. Berserker. The pale girl raises her hand after performing a ritual and looks down on us. I swear I won't let anyone get away today. Her declaration is equal parts murderous intent and delight. Berserker's eyes light up. Before Berserker had moved only as Ilia ordered, but now he's free to act, and he identifies us as enemies. Something's making a grinding sound. Tosaka grits her teeth hard as if in regret. Can you hear me? Tosaka speaks up quietly without turning. We don't need long. Distract him for us. She just ordered her servant to his death. Archer doesn't answer. Ridiculous. Are you mad, Rin? Archer cannot possibly go up against Berserker alone. We're going to take that chance to escape. Archer is going to buy us time. Tosaka continues giving her orders, ignoring Saber. Her voice is cold, devoid of any emotion. Archer, who had been silent as if pondering something, his eyes fixed on Berserker, gives a slight nod. A sound plan. I'll be able to escape once Rin and the others have. Independent action is in Archer's strong suit. He takes a step forward as if to protect Tosaka. Berserker doesn't move. Ilia's laughter echoes from above. Oh wow, this is a surprise. You think your nobody of a servant can stop my Heracles? I never thought you would do something so cute, Rin. Neither Tosaka nor Archer are in any position to object. They know better than anyone. Archer steps forward. He's empty-handed as usual. Tosaka looks at Archer's back. There's nothing she can say to him. She must know her orders are absurd. They amounted to telling Archer to die so we could escape. Tosaka's about to say something, but... Rin, I just want to check something with you. Archer interrupts her, speaking so nonchalantly that it seems out of place. Fine. What? Tosaka turns towards Archer, her eyes downcast. Archer's gaze stays locked on Berserker. I don't mind buying you time. But you wouldn't mind if I just beat this thing, right? It sounds completely ridiculous. Are you? No, there's no need to hold back. Give him hell, Archer. Understood. Guess I should try to live up to your expectations. Archer walks forward. Only 10 meters until he reaches Berserker. At this distance, it could close on Archer in an instant. You're making a mockery of me? Fine. Get him, Berserker. Go tear that cocky man to pieces. Ilia's voice is hysterical. Tosaka turns her back, not paying attention. Let's go. Once we're out, we've won. Tosaka grabs my hand as well as Saber's, and runs. Saber doesn't object. She follows Tosaka. I start running towards the entrance, leaving Archer behind. But then, from behind me, he calls out to me, his back still to me. I let go of Tosaka's hand and turn around. In the lobby now, a good ways from me, I see Archer's back as he faces down Berserker. Listen, you're not a fighter. You only create. Berserker draws near. Archer is still empty-handed and doesn't take a single step while he watches his enemy closing in. Don't think about anything else. There's only one thing you can do, so master that one thing. Archer raises one hand. I have no idea what he got when he got it, but he's holding a short sword now. Don't forget, what you need to do is always imagine yourself as the strongest. You don't need an enemy. The only opponent you need to fight is your own mind. I see him start to shift. Berserker's sword sends a rush of wind ahead of him. I turn and run, not staying to watch the clash. Tosaka and Saber are already at the entrance. I run and I don't look back. The sight of the man in red makes it clear that I need to go. We hurry through the long hallway and out through the gate. Hard as it is to believe, we're in a castle. And an old one at that, hidden deep in a forest. The whole place is surrounded by trees as far as one can see. I can't see any buildings or even the sky in the distance. This way. We should be able to reach the main road in about 3 hours. We'd better run. 3 hours. Honestly, I'm not sure I'll last that long. I'm not tired, but the pain gets worse with every step. If I could at least rest, my fever might break, but we don't have time for that. So Archer there was totally encouraging Shiro to master his projection. Hey, J6, welcome to the stream. How'y things. Tosaka sounds every bit as hurried. She'd given Archer his orders. As composed as she looks, I can see the regret weighing on her. I know, they're gonna catch up. Saber, let's hurry. Oh, yes, let us hurry, Shiro. Saber's eyes are downcast, but she breaks into a run with us. We follow Tosaka as she slips between the trees. Saber's breath rattles loudly in her chest as she runs beside me. It's too dark for me to see clearly, but I can tell she's struggling. I can't ignore it any longer. Saber loses her balance. I sweep in from the side and take hold of her before she hits the ground. That's it. You can't go on anymore, Saber. What are you saying, Shiro? I've been in situations like this many times and I can still run. What are you talking about? Experienced or not, you're still in pain now. Come on, you need to admit you're struggling. I pull her arm. Saber hardly weighs anything anyway. I gather her effortlessly into my arms. Bridal carry! What are you doing, Shiro? No questions. Just rest for a while. I'll be the first to fall if I have to keep watching you struggle like that. No, insolence! Unhand me, do you truly believe this is enough to make me collapse? Saber struggles in my arms, but her resistance is weak. Her thin arms have no real strength in them as she pushes at my chest. It pains me to see how weak she's gotten. I never imagined Saber could be too weak to push away from someone picking her up. What are you thinking, Shiro? I'll not permit such behavior, even for my master. Saber struggles against me, her face beet red. I can't really blame her. This must be a terribly embarrassing position for a knight to be in, but now isn't the time to worry about that. Lies, you're too weak to even push me away. This is an order from your master. If you won't listen, I'll have to use a command spell. Well, that's cruel. I'll not tolerate such absurd nonsense as using a command spell for something like this. Then keep quiet. If we don't hurry, Tosaka's gonna leave us behind. Saber must have given up as she reluctantly falls silent. That's good enough for now. As long as she's not struggling, I can carry her and run at the same time. Spots burst across my vision. As I run, my blood pumps faster. I try to fight down the nausea burning at the back of my throat, gritting my teeth with every step. I mean, doing an all-out run for 3 hours straight just sounds like a pain. My breathing is erratic, but I do all I can to hold the pain at bay. There's a reason for that. Please put me down. I'll run on my own. The moment she sees me struggling, Saber looks up at me, concerned. I can't stop now. Don't underestimate me. Carrying you is nothing. Compared to a broken stove, a girl's light as a feather. But just shut your mouth. It's give and take, just not in your vocabulary. You saved me plenty, so it wouldn't be fair for me not to do this. Excuse me. I need to pay you back for everything you've done, or else I can't have you protect me tomorrow. No, that's not true, and you doing this is most certainly unfair. Fine by me. Just means I'll only have to do something like this once. Besides, I'm starting to get motivated now. I take a breath and pick up the pace. Tosaka knows very well that I have Saber in my arms, but she keeps taking us through narrower and narrower paths. It's a good thing Saber's so light, but following Tosaka is a trial all on its own. Keep talking, you might bite off your tongue, so I'd appreciate it if you stopped. Yes, then I will do as my master says. Saber relaxes in my arms. She was so tense earlier, which made carrying her harder. Now it's a bit easier. The problem now is whether Saber and I will make it to our destination. I don't know how long we've been running. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Running doesn't take a lot out of me. I've been training hard and Saber is so light. But right now, there's something wrong inside me. The more I move, the dizzier I get. I feel like I'm about to throw up. I would have understood if I'd been bitten by a snake, but the poison was doing a number on me. Since we're in a forest, but this is nothing. The pain won't bring me to my knees. It's just a heaviness in my chest, and I need to throw something up. And it's nothing compared to the heat I'm feeling in my arms right now. Saber's closed her eyes as if she were sleeping. She's not resting, she's relaxed. Her body is growing hotter by the moment. Her clothes are damp with sweat, even though it's the middle of winter, and she's tucked her head down to hide her labored breathing from me. This is bad. At this rate, it'll be a repeat of that one night. The night Saber collapsed from exhaustion after using her noble phantasm against Ryder. Saber's condition hasn't changed since that night. Was she able to talk now because she was in that brief window just before she collapsed? I run in an attempt to prevent that from coming true. I don't care what happens to my body. I move my feet as fast as I can, hoping that we can do something, as long as we make it home. Welcome back again, Viper. I very nearly trip, skid to a stop, leaning my back against a tree. I taste blood, so that's where the nausea's coming from. None got on Saber, since it was just a bit, but the source of my nausea churns my chest. Depending on how you look at it, this is actually better. Saber would be pretty upset about the waste of food if I threw up. Actually, knowing Saber, she might, well, cut me in half for it. Yep, that's funny. A bit of levity lends me just a little bit more energy. Okay, break's over. No, you're done pushing yourself, Shiro. She wasn't asleep. Saber speaks from where she lays in my arms. What do you mean, I'm done? You should escape on your own, Shiro. You cannot continue to carry me in your state. The hell I can't. I just tripped. This is nothing. Says the boy so pale he looks like a corpse. Hey, Tosaka's come back for some reason. If you want to put on a brave front, go ahead. Yeah, the forest is pretty dark, but you should still wipe the blood from your mouth. No wonder Saber's so worried. This is a relief. With Rin present, I need not explain myself. Figured so. I just know what you're trying to say, Saber. We don't have much time, so go ahead and say what you want to say, even the big dummy like him will get it. Saber nods. Yes. Rin, please leave me here. You will not make it out with me. And more importantly, I cannot last any longer. I can't really insist that she's being ridiculous. Neither of them needs to be reminded. Neither of them needs to remind me just how much worse Saber's getting. Saber won't last long. I have a sense she won't make it until morning, the way things are going. I see. So what do you think, Shiro? Are you going to die with Saber out here? Of course not. I have no plans to die, or let Saber disappear. If she's going to disappear, I'll use my command spells or whatever. Okay, that's good enough for me. Let's take care of both problems then. We'll save Saber and the three of us will escape the forest. That'll be the plan. Huh? My brain feels like mushy tofu. Tosaka says the darndest things and always so casually. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I'd really like to do that, but we can't. Just follow me. I have no intention of letting Saber die either. But, so I'll have you know. But I'm not just going to let this opportunity slip away. I'm going to make sure you fulfill your duty. Shiro said it was okay, so you don't mind. Right, Saber? Tosaka turns toward Saber meaningfully. Saber doesn't answer. Instead, she averts her eyes awkwardly. Once we pass through the exceptionally tall trees, something unexpected comes into our view. A ruin. We should be able to hide out here for a while. Archer found this place on our way up here. He said we could use it as a hideout, just in case. Oh, this is from Heaven's Feel as well, this ruin. It's where, it's close to where Shiro defeats Heracles. Trees choke the ruins. Only one of the rooms on the second floor remains more or less intact. The windows are miraculously undamaged, and the brilliant moonlight casts the room in its pale glow. It's pretty clean in here. Maybe someone was staying here recently. Nothing phases this girl. Tosaka steps over the rubble and pats the bed near the wall with both hands. Shiro, over here. We should lay Saber here. Getting carried can actually be pretty tiring, you know. Yeah, I'll be right there. I lay Saber on the old beat-up bed. How are you holding up, Saber? Can you still move? Yes, I'm fine. Since Shiro carried me here, it seems I can still maintain my body. Okay then, there's only one issue left. It's been an hour. It might take a little longer, even if Ilia's Veil is going to pursue us. No, we might be able to hide here until morning if they have trouble finding us. Oh, she's just reminded me of something. We've run as far as this ruin, but what happens with Berserker and Archer? He stayed in the castle to hold Berserker off. It's already been an hour. Archer should have retreated from the castle by now. Tosaka doesn't respond. She presses her right hand to her heart like she's clutching something precious. And that's enough to tell me what happened to Archer. Tosaka's command spell is on her right arm. A master and their servant are connected. The same way Saber was able to detect when I was in danger, a master can sense whether their servant is alive or dead. Yeah, and I told him to just buy us some time. That guy, he was pretentious till the very end. Silence falls between us. That's a random statement there, Viper. It feels like the silence will last forever, but I won't let it be meaningless. Since I've lost Archer, I'm going to defeat Berserker here. The sound of Tosaka punching her hand into her fist breaks the silence. No more mourning. My rule is that I should take action. If I have time to worry we've come this far, So now I'm gonna have you make a decision too. What kind of decision? You should know very well. The decision to defeat Iliesvale by killing Berserker. If we have Saber with us, we can't get out of the forest, and having her recover naturally would take too long. Whichever we try, Ilia catches us. Don't you get it? If the three of us are ever going to leave this forest, we need to defeat Berserker. If we can't do that, we're just going to follow Archer. Defeat Berserker? That monster. Defeat that invincible whirlwind of death? I can't imagine that being possible. If we fight, we die. Tosaka should understand that perfectly herself. Is her plan still to defeat him, even knowing that? No, that's wrong. What am I saying? Tosaka's not saying we can beat it. She's not so blindly optimistic. Yeah, got it. We're not going to beat him to win. I should have realized that from the very beginning. We have to beat him, don't we? That's all there is to it. If we don't want to die here, we have to defeat that monster. Exactly. Things aren't as dire as you might think either. Yeah, it's Berserker, but he should be wounded after fighting Archer. I brought my entire jewel collection, and Saber can recover. Then we can come up with a plan or two. In fact, don't you think this is our best opportunity to defeat Iliesvale since Berserker's wounded? But is there a way to heal Saber? This isn't the best place to treat her. No, location isn't the important thing for treating Saber. Saber's only weak because she's out of magical energy. If we can replenish enough of that magical energy, she should be able to use her abilities like before. Tosaka's explanation reminds me of late last night. She said that Saber's magical energy was mostly gone, which is why to restore Saber's magical energy. If you want to save Saber, you'll need to tell her to attack people and eat their souls. Then there's only one answer. Use a command spell, Amiya, that should at least let you avoid the worst case here. I have 2 command spells left. I'll use one to make Saber attack people so she can devour their souls to replenish her magical energy. If Saber won't recover, we can't defeat Berserker. If we can't defeat Berserker, then he'll kill us. Shiro Emiya, you are in the middle of a forest in the middle of the mountains. Where are there going to be people for her to devour the souls of? I look at Saber where she lies. We are just letting her suffer at this point, but no, I still can't agree to let Saber attack innocent people. Yes, I actually agree this time. If we were somewhere else, I might have suggested it. But we're in Iliesvale's forest. There's not a single human soul around. There might be some people beside Ilia and Berserker in the castle, but going back there is a suicide mission. Thank you, Rin, for having a brain. For Saber to eat souls, we'd have to be out of this place, so that's not going to happen right now. Tosaka nods. I'm relieved to not have to make Saber attack people, but then how are we supposed to... Oh. Am I going to have to cut out the screen here? So what do we need to do, Tosaka? This whole problem comes from me not being able to provide Saber with magical energy. There are other ways. I thought I explained that to you yesterday. I guess it's the day before yesterday now. Sharing magical energy with the servant can be accomplished by sharing magecraft, and a handful of other methods. Back then, well, I didn't say anything because I never thought we would end up in a situation like this. I try to think back to our conversation that night. Now that she mentioned it, she said something like, path should have been created between you and Saber during her summoning, so there might be a different way, but... I think that's what Tosaka said. I remember now, you said something about a path, and that there's some other method besides magecraft. Right? Or did I get it wrong? At the time, I was shocked to learn that I had to make Saber attack people, so I might have misheard. Exactly, J6. Is there another way, Tosaka? Yeah, there are 2 options I can help you with, but this isn't exactly an ideal situation for either. Listen, Saber lacks magical energy because the path between you two is incomplete. In order for her to recover, we need to reform the path between you to make it work properly. That's probably the best solution, but I don't know how to do it. Well, okay, so I did check before when I thought, and there's no way to mark this as a mature stream. For some reason, I cannot mark this as a mature screen. So I will have to block out the screen if it does. Saber's summoning was messed up from the start. If I had been able to make a connection to supply her with magical energy, we wouldn't be in this mess. It's quite simple. We need you and Saber to bond properly and reconnect your spiritual path. That's the only way to fix Path without breaking the contract or resummoning her. And to do that, we need to transplant your magic circuits to Saber. Huh? Transplant my magic circuits to Saber. To establish the path between you and Saber, we need to transplant spiritually imported organs. If the Servant Master borrowing Holy Grail's power, we need to create a connection just as strong or else the path won't be formed. And to accomplish that, we'll need to transplant the Master's magic circuits to their servant. It's going to require something that extreme or your powers won't reach Saber. Magic circuits. An indispensable mechanism for mages that use Ode to activate mana. It's the core of a mage's existence, and without it, the magical energy that serves as the source of a mage's power can't be created. To a mage, their magic circuits are more important than life itself. They see them as a thing that gives their existence value. It's too dangerous to transplant a servant's circuits to a master. Transplanting the circuits of a ghost liner, especially a heroic spirit, into a dying person pretty much only leads to severe rejection. True thing, Viper, true thing. And hey, a reference to the future, or rather, to an alternate timeline. So our only remaining option is to transplant your circuits to Saber. But it amounts to ripping nerves out of your body, which means the burden here will be entirely on the one offering the transplant. Ripping out nerves is the same as amputating fingers or even arms. Please wait, Ren. That would be too much for Shiro. And if we don't do it, none of us will survive. You should know that, Saber. I gulp as quietly as I can. I have to get my priorities straight. We don't have time for me to hesitate. What needs to be done is clear. Can you make this work? I'll make it work, yes, but even if it works, it's not going to be safe or easy. I have no intention of failing, but even if I succeed, your magic circuits will go to Saber. You'll experience such an intense sense of loss and pain, you'll wish I failed. If your magic circuits are taken from you, that means it means that my secondary nerve, my missing magic circuits, would be like a piece torn from my psyche, and would damage the spiritual body's integrity, creating a fatal flaw in me as a mage. I'll never regain that missing piece for as long as I live. My hope of becoming a full-fledged mage from experience alone will die. Once I lose my foundation, my magic circuits, I will always be incomplete, no matter what. I nod for my own sake. Is that all? I'd rather save Saber. Okay, let's do it, Tosaka. That was fast. I guess it's fine you decided so fast, but do you understand what you're getting into? I do. You already told me. Of course you don't. Listen, I basically just told you that you're going to have to die as a mage to save Saber. How can you just agree without any questions or objections? Because I don't have any objections. I'm agreeing because it's the best plan we have. You should be more confident in your own plan. Seeing you panic like this is making me worry. And if we don't do this, Saber can't fight Berserker, right? Right, that's what I've been saying. See, and it's not like we haven't made sacrifices. We have to fight and win since he bought us time. His stance told me to go. I didn't like him, but if he was willing to risk his life to protect his master, Tosaka, I can't back out now. Fine, let's begin, Shiro. Okay, so... Okay. Hang on, I need a drink of water. So, they decided that the less mature thing, rather than having the snoo happen, for a transferring a magical energy to Saber, rather than having snoo happen, they decide to literally, the less intense thing is to literally tear your nerve endings out and graft them onto somebody, causing intense physical, mental, and spiritual pain. Somehow, that is less bad than the other option. What the heck? I know that we're more desensitized to violence, but this is ridiculous. Are you ready, Saber? We're going to transplant my magic circuits to you. If that's your decision, Master. I hear neither affirmation nor denial in her voice. But her eyes seem filled with regret. I guess Tosaka is going to prepare us for the transplant. I don't know the procedure, so I'll just leave it all to Tosaka. Exactly. We'll start with Saber. Shiro, keep your magic circuits on and just try to keep your mind clear. I close my eyes and switch over the artificial nerve in my body. Thanks to Tosaka's instructions, I've been able to turn my circuits on and off effortlessly. A red flower entangles the white flower. Tosaka climbs to straddle Saber, who lies still, then she begins to run her... Okay, they did not change all the dialogue. Run her fingers freely along the curves of Saber's slender form. Tosaka, what are you doing to Saber? What do you mean? I'm doing this to help Saber relax. We won't have as good a chance of success if Saber can't relax. Okay, sorry. Continue. Okay. Now, let's get your clothes off, Saber. What? What? Quit reacting to everything I do. We just need to take some of her clothes off. Transplanting magic circuits is a mingling of body and mind. We need to make sure you're much more contact with as little obstruction as possible. Tosaka is completely calm about this. Saber and I are the only two who are flustered about this as Tosaka begins undoing Saber's collar. Please wait, Rin. I can at least do that. You can hardly lift your arms, so quit trying to act tough. Unless, Emiya, do you want to take Saber's clothes off since you're her master? You. I want to call her a fool, but I snap my mouth shut. All jokes aside, I'm not suited to a task like that. If I had to do it, I wouldn't be able to maintain my composure. Yeah, exactly. Stop beating around the bush. Sorry, I'm leaving everything to you. Good. So, you know, you'll need to strip too. Just the shirt, though. I'll kill you if you even think about taking off your pants. I can't tell if she's joking or being serious. Seems like I need to strip to connect with Saber, though. If I may ask, please turn away for a moment. Oh, got it. Tell me when you're ready. I'm still going to cautiously have my finger on the Windows button here. Or maybe I should maybe... I'll think on it. I turn away and fold the shirt I was wearing. I try to distract myself and hide how nervous I am by folding up my shirt neatly, sleeves and all. Okay, so I just confirmed pressing the Windows button will indeed get me out of this screen. Are you okay, Saber? Yes, I feel much better. However, I need to calm down. Try to get my fear under control as I find myself dreading how painful and difficult the magic circuit transplant will be, and how it might fail. This is just a step along the path. I should be more worried about the fight with Berserker that comes after this. You can turn around, Shiro. Alright. Okay, come on. My finger is hovering over the Windows button. Okay, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. Whew. It's fine. I forget to breathe. I've seen her bare skin before, but I've never seen Saber like this. Now, as she lies in the bed. Alright, Viper, I think I'm getting close to the end of the stream because this day in game, like, hold on. This day has been going on for a very, very long time. Also, I do wonder what these other two options were. That was a... So, confronting was an increase of Saber's affection option. Also, why can I go beyond this? Interesting. It must be all this tension in the air. It's not just me. Saber is acting weird too. She acted normal when I saw her bare skin before. Over here, Shiro. Get up here and get on top of Saber. It's like someone else is controlling my body. I'm walking toward the bed, but it doesn't seem real to me. I'll handle things until the sympathizing step. I'll have you take over after that, but make sure not to take too much. The less you take, the less burden on Shiro will be. Understood. Please go ahead, Ren. I have no idea what they're saying. Right now, it's all I can do to breathe. We get even closer. We're so close our skin is almost touching. I feel Saber's weak breath on me. I support my weight with my hands, my body so close to hers. I don't understand those words. I'm not even going to try and pronounce all those. I see element. That is the only word I can understand out of all that. I'm pretty sure it's probably German. The chant begins. I try to focus my consciousness on what's happening to clear my mind so I can sympathize with Saber. They're not even reading out the chant. They're just making weird noises. I only see Saber's face. She's already in a meditative state. I can't keep my eyes open forever. I reluctantly close my eyes. That's bright. My senses begin to fade. It's the same floating sensation as when I create my magic circuit every night. The feeling of my ego, my mind leaving my body. This time, though, it's running in reverse. Normally, I feel that sensation coming from my back. But right now, my consciousness is escaping from my chest. The 5 senses are functions associated with the physical body. The moment my consciousness leaves my body, I lose my sense of hearing. But my ears are more sensitive to Saber's breathing. Her slow, steady breathing begins to speed up. I hear the heart pounding in my chest. Blood rushes through my veins. I leave the vessel known as Shiro Emiya and slide into her body. Okay, some of this dialogue has got to be carried over. My consciousness sinks deeper into her. Myself swirls and converges, invading her as solid crystal. Pulsing, hot breath. Our hearts, not our bodies, touch. Her voice rings out like a bell, and in response, my essence escapes my physical body. Some of these lines are totally just carryovers. I'm gonna say it. Some of those lines are just totally carryovers. My senses are transformed. I have no hands, no legs, no self, but I continue on in this bare state. Time seems to flow backward. Instead of flying, I feel as if I'm being left behind. I accelerate. This body, persona, order, law. I become an arrow shattering every barrier around me, destroying the boundaries that separate one person from another. Sparks race along the circuit. I freeze in the ecstasy of reaching the speed of light. They say a person's life flashes by in a single instant. The flashbacks are cruel. Every instant passes by in the blink of an eye. I can't look at it directly, so I find myself going emotionally numb. So this is a mental journey. I'm reminded just how comforting our physical bodies, our anchors, can be. I visualize the foundation of magecraft. The human operation is quantified. Hundreds of institutions, millions of joints form a circle. The endless complex patterns are in fact just a highway formed by simple repetition, all heading into the vastness of the future. It's like a vehicle of some kind heading towards the darkened city of light. Here in the present, my thoughts pass by at the speed of light. At the speed of thought. Which is theoretically faster than the speed of light. This is like epilepsy warning territory, I'm just gonna say. Eternity passes by in an instant. Okay, yeah, this definitely feels like it's an epilepsy warning. Pass through the last boundary. I break through and I'm inside her. I see a glimpse of Artoria's magic circuits, not my own. She doesn't have magic circuits, though. She has a dragon core. The changes are extreme. The speed and light of the world vanish all at once. Here it is dark. Here it is heavy. The pressure of it pushes against my bodiless form. The air is so thick, I may as well be underwater. My body sinks, feeling only the agony of being clamped in a vice. The path is deep, and I can't see the bottom. I feel myself fall through the thick twilight, plummeting deeper into an even denser darkness. It seems impossible that, just a moment ago, I traveled 10,000 miles in the blink of an eye. Now even going a single mile seems like it would be an arduous, eternal journey. Excuse me. I feel neither light nor hope. Are these really Saber's magic circuits? They're completely different from mine. The shape of the circuits, the number of the pathways, all that differs from person to person, but this is unlike anything else. This isn't a matter of skill or ability. Saber's magic circuits are fundamentally different than a mage's. The path rumbles. Every time it does, my tiny self nearly shatters. I don't know what Saber's magic circuits are like, but I can tell the sympathizing magecraft is functioning properly. This is not a failure. The dark, heavy pressure of this place doesn't seem like Saber, but it's also not an impure place. It's brimming with life. The flowing air is blood and the swirl of magical energy. I realize I've forgotten to breathe. I haven't needed to. Sinking is painful, but it's not life-threatening. I look up into the darkness I've sunken into, but I can't seem to be past the point of no return. I can't see anything in this darkness. I'm submerging gradually, but the distance ahead is infinite. The air grows heavier. My rate of descent slows yet again. I squint into the darkness. That seemingly endless road does have an end. I feel the heat of Saber's body. I feel her every breath so close. The final destination. I reach the source of Saber's magic circuits, the center of her mental world. But what I see is beyond my capacity to understand. It's the core of a star. I've reached the embodiment of some impossible scorching heat, breathing from the depths of the earth. The fiery red surface swirls, and then there's a splash like stagnant mud. At the bottom there lurks a giant shadow. Its fiery eyes fix on the tiny intruder. Whether its master gave the intruder permission to enter or not, it's still a foreign invader. In the face of this core, my own consciousness is barely a mote of dust to disturb its function, or a piece of wood to feed its fire. I gulp even though I have no throat to swallow with. I take in the entire scene. There are Saber's magic circuits. A heart beyond anything human, so different from ours, which we imagine as lines and circuits. This is a reactor core. If a mage body is a machine for creating magical energy, then what I am seeing now is an entire factory. But the core is inactive. The key that should activate the core, the spark of power to bring the whole thing into life, has been cut off. Despite the overwhelming ability of this core has to produce massive amounts of magical energy, it lacks the initial charge to activate itself. It floats overhead, a stagnant sea of fuel. No matter how much undiluted magical energy fills this endless space, it's useless. It needs to ignite. Even a tiny spark could do the trick. So long as the pathway for magical energy is connected, the core will roar back to life. And to do that, something beyond human knowledge awakens. Pathways running over the lake of magical energy begin to swirl. Red air explodes upward in a raging pillar. Is this what it is to stand in the thundercloud? Sorry. Why is there a dragon? So intense is the roar of the raging waves that I don't even properly hear it. Now, the same way something too massive can't be properly seen, the roar it's its own kind of silence to me. What appears at the heart of that blazing core is the embodiment of every threat mankind carries in their hearts. It has been said that the king is a red dragon that symbolizes Britain. Phantasmal blood runs in their human veins, the child of a sacred star. A dragon. A ruler, the symbol of so many phantasmal species, objects of both awe and fear. The pinnacle of all beasts, appearing at times as a demon, at times a god. This is what lies in Saber's subconscious. Its otherworldly form suits the servant said to be the best. The cauldron opens. Vicious fangs are all I see. There can be no resistance. Humans which pale to insignificance before this could never defend against it. No human intelligence could ever conceive a way to escape. Oh. It must be famished. It devours its prey, which would normally seem as inconsequential as motes of dust, with its bloodshot eyes. And I am at a complete loss for words. I wonder, why do we not eat living meals? It's obvious. We cannot bear to see our food alive. We prefer fresh food, but rarely do we eat anything alive because we feel it's cruel for our food to suffer. In other words, killing the meat we consume before we eat it is our way of preserving its dignity. A scream of rage tears its way from my throat. I forget who I am and roar like a beast. I try to appeal to the beast. The hatred builds within me. My only resistance is bearing my emotions. I beg for mercy like a crucified sinner as I'm ground to meal. My consciousness grows hazy, muddled. Every purpose and meaning in my life falls away. Any hope of retaining my sanity is as long gone as creation itself. What the heck is going on? The pain, the pressure, they're far, far too much. And then, when I came to see it only as a monster... What is going Even once I learned of this hell, I believed I could endure it. The image of Saber, her head hanging low, comes back to me. I recall the meaning of this pain. That meaning drives me forward. It's a literal painful reminder of what I came here to do. I draw in a deep breath and let go of my resistance. It's not the dragon's fangs I should be fighting, but the pain twisting through me. I'm not here to run from the pain. I'm here to save her pain, to live up to the trust she's placed in me time and time again. And so, I'm here to give her the best thing that I, who has no hope of fighting, can give. The pain is indescribable. I can't reach out to ground my consciousness. I hone my awareness like a blade, silently as if I were asleep. Here eternity is but an instant. As long as I can endure this pain, even for an instant, my consciousness will remain. Alright then. I won't let myself feel an ounce of fear. I shall dedicate this pain to you, who will be the one to fight. Why is there a frickin' dragon? What the heck is going on? This is nonsensical even for Fate lore. Did they really go this far? Just to avoid an M rating. The pain instantly fades. The red dragon is gone and my consciousness gradually falls back to the surface. Am I weightless because I lost something? As if I'm floating up to the water's surface, I feel myself rising up above the reactor. But wait, there's something I want to check before. Ah, it's so warm. A dull, throbbing hum issues from the reactor as it burns with golden light. The elaborate magic circuits shine with a rainbow hue and begin their circulation. The fire is lit. I may be an untrained amateur of a mage, but today I filled my role as her lord. I surrender my body to the wind and float upward. I catch a glimpse of a distant memory. A figure holding a sword and a figure standing in a grassy field as it dances in the wind. Which one do I find reminiscent? That's an achievement, apparently. Excuse me. I feel sunlight on my eyelids and I slowly open them. Dazed and confused, I check over my own body. My arms and legs are fine, I don't see any wounds. Maybe the pain faded the moment I was able to endure it. My physical wounds and even the mental scars seem to have healed. Shiro. I hear a weak voice from under me. Huh? The feeling of her soft skin immediately makes me realize who's speaking in the position we're in. Ouch. Saber's lying on the bed with her blouse in disarray while Tosaka is sleeping, cradling her knees to her chest. Tosaka may be fine, but Saber's been under me like this the whole time. Morning, Saber. Yes, good morning, Shiro. We exchange awkward pleasantries. Saber slowly gets up and rearranges her blouse. Crap, we're so embarrassed we can't even look each other in the eye. You can already get up, Saber. Yes, I can receive your supply of magical energy now. She seems to be back to her normal self. When I carried her here last night, she was so weak, it seemed she might disappear at any moment, but that weakness is gone now. I see. That's relief. So the magic circuit transplant worked. Yes, would you please put your clothes on, Shiro? I do not know why, but it's difficult speaking with you this way. He's literally just without a shirt. I look down at myself. Alright, yeah, you're right. I hastily reach for my neatly folded shirt. That was nice of Tosaka to fold it up like that. Wait, no, I did that. Why did I fold it up so tight? I vividly recall last night's ritual. I connected with Saber and Tosaka transplanted my magic circuits deep within Saber. Saber looks like she's back to normal, but what happened to me? Tosaka warned me that my body and mind might not be able to handle the loss of magic circuits, but I don't feel much damage, or any huge sense of loss. I was a little scared, but I checked on my magic circuits myself. The idea of seeing for myself just how much I've lost is terrifying, but we're headed into battle against Berserker. I need to understand my own condition. Huh? I don't know how to explain it. The overall function of my magic circuit feels sluggish, but there doesn't seem to be any obvious damage. I was chewed to pieces, but my magic circuits are still intact. Looks I'll still be able to do my strengthening magecraft. So that means... I assume the magic circuits I rarely use were the ones Tosaka took. I only activate about 1 to 4 circuits when I do strengthening, since I can't do large-scale magecraft anyway. I've never fully activated all my circuits. So she transplanted the circuits I don't use to Saber. I close my eyes to assess the situation. It seems this won't affect my strengthening magecraft. The sluggishness, like I'm wading through waters because my capacity for magecraft has decreased. In exchange, though, I feel like I'm connected to something important deep within inside myself. I can't tell exactly where it's coming from, but there's a faint line that connects me and Saber. I've gained something truly important in exchange for my lost circuits. I must apologize, Shiro. Saber speaks up from somewhere behind me. I did my best to take as few of your circuits as possible, but even that bare minimum was too much to take from any one person. I've left a scar on you that will never fade, and I can't apologize enough for that. It is my failure. If only I were stronger, more disciplined, I would not have... That's not true. You have nothing to apologize for, Saber. This all happened because I couldn't supply you with magical energy in the first place. That's solved now, though. Now I can give you the magical energy you need without a problem. Yeah, now I can finally proudly say I'm Saber's master. But, Shiro, don't worry about my magic circuits. I didn't use them all anyway. I even feel better without them, actually. Saber's expression remains clouded. Crap, I never know what to say at times like this. Saber's recovered, and I survived even after the loss of some of my magic circuits. Saber's magic circuits, the dream of light and wind, and Saber in her youth, and on top of that, we spent the night touching skin to skin. Calm down, calm down. That was a ritual for our own survival. I need to calm my mind. If I don't focus, I could mess up during battle. The sleepy rhythm of Tosaka's breathing halts, and she grunts. Looks like Tosaka's awake too. Good morning, Rin. Yo, morning, Tosaka. I see Tosaka's hair shift, and then her head tilts up. She's not a morning person at all, and doesn't look her usual sharp self. At all. Thanks, Tosaka. It worked. Yes, he's able to supply me with magical energy now. But in exchange, Shiro has... No, I only lost about 30%, so don't worry. I can make do with what I still have. 30%? I did everything I could to minimize what I took, but I still took 30%. I cannot believe my own greed. Greedy, you say? I knew you were hungry, but I'd wish you had a little better manners. Tosaka joining us helps dispel the awkwardness between Saber and me. Now, we're back to normal. Is that so? Then let's get going. Tosaka yawns and gets to our feet. It's almost time for the battle. Somewhere in that forest, Berserker and Iliasvale await. If we don't defeat that hurricane of death, everything we did last night was for nothing. The connection that was created between me and Saber deep in our hearts. To protect what we created, we'll have to defeat the most powerful enemy of all. Interlude. Okay, I think I am going to save at this interlude here, just because this has been going on for a long time. I don't know if it's just because this is the tail end of the, like, if we're getting towards the end of the route, but there's still so much left to do, but it just feels like each section is growing larger and larger and larger. I mean, we're doing an interlude and it looks like it's an affection one, but we're going to worry about that later. I'm calling my stream here. So I've been Silverrack Dragon. I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. If you have, leave me some feedback in whichever way you so see fit. If you want to check out more by me, be sure to check out my channel here on Twitch or YouTube. Same name, same games. There is plenty of content for all to enjoy. But once again, I thank you all so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed. I'm curious. There is no Merlin. Where's Merlin? We heard Merlin. Oh well. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.